Is Glenn Fricker completely insane? Or is he just the only one that's willing to say what we're all thinking?
Why is it metalheads are such gigantic snowflakes?
Most rock bands, metal bands, whatever you all, they all suck. Why? Number one, their songs are too long. The riffs go nowhere. It's just a bunch of guitar players noodling. And honestly, after about 30 seconds, it just gets kind of boring. Do you agree? Freaky Things, we agree with him. I agree with him. There's a lot of things that Glenn says that I agree with.
Turn your fucking volume knob down because there are other people in the band beside you!
I started watching his channel about a year and a half ago, and I'd recommend everybody else go watch that too. He says tons of stuff, and he's very opinionated, which I love. I agree with most of his opinions. So I stumble across Glenn's videos, and he's always roasting bands for either having their songs too long, the guitar players noodling obsessively, bass players suck, drummers can't keep time, so everything's like quantized perfectly. I mean, it goes on and on and on. The thing is, the more I listen to him, the more I realize this is exactly what Freaky Things, or at least I am trying to do with my own songwriting. And I just do that by instinct. I grew up in the 80s, grew up on Dio and Priest and Maiden and Rat, Motley Crue and all the Cheap Trick. All these bands had guitar heroes, or a lot of them did. But more importantly, the song was the key factor. They had great songs. The guitar player just complimented the songs. I'm going to have a video later about the lead guitar complimenting the song as opposed to just showing off. It's funny, I had a little help from ChatGPT write some of this script for me. I don't know if it's quoting Glenn specifically or not, but it gets the gist of the quotes. One of the quotes it said was, "Nobody wants to hear your 6-minute epic. You've got 30 seconds to make me care." Exactly. I totally agree with what the chat is saying that Glenn said. I have no idea if he said that or not, but it sounds like something he'd say. For an example, Freaky Things just released a new song called Rockband.
It's a fun track. On the road, get gas with a van from Nashville. So we wrote a song about it. The highs and the lows. Happy and complicated.
Yeah, I know. In a way, it's a little bit cheesy, but at the same time, I think it's really catchy. It gets to the point. The song is only, I think, 2 minutes and 36 seconds long. Here you go. Here it is. We don't even do a lead in there. I do a couple little parts, but it would not be considered a lead. Or there's like a cool little guitar part in there too that Adam does. There's no intro jam. There's no meandering. It just gets to the point, lets you know what we are, what the song is. Hopefully you're singing along to it by the end of the 2 minutes and 36 seconds, and we leave you with that. That's what I love. And I always try to keep our songs less than 4 minutes long, regardless. Another thing that Glenn supposedly says, according to chat, is bands don't write songs, they write riffs. And then they put a whole bunch of these riffs into one song. The next thing you know is you have an 8-minute epic that is nothing memorable. Don't do that. Just stop.
No, don't do it.
It's time to stop.
I love that about Glenn. He just speaks the truth.
Shut the fuck up!
Here's another ChatGPT quote that it claimed for Glenn. "It's too polished, where's the danger?" Actually, I can agree with that a lot, but I can see where a polished song or a polished recording is a good thing. So I'm not sure if Glenn would actually say that or not. I kind of like unpolished. I like raw energy.
Ready to fly. Here we go now.
When we recorded Rockband, it was the first song that Freaky has actually done with the full band. So the first thing we did was record the drums. Now, we are using a MIDI drum kit, so I had to go in and replace a couple of parts, but it caught the vibe of at least what Clarence, our drummer, was doing. That was the most important thing I got. Then we went back and tracked over the top of it, but we felt like we still kept that live, raw energy. The tempo is not straight. I didn't fix any of that. We were kind of like just up and down a little bit like a real rock band would be. The big takeaway from this is that Glenn is usually right about this stuff. His opinions, I think, are spot on when he's talking about how these bands could improve. I hope that we're doing a lot of that, just like I said, naturally. Then it's up to the listener to see if they like it or not. At least we're keeping these things in mind when we write songs. We're thinking about the listener. We're thinking about not ourselves so much as we craft the song. It goes through lots of edits. That's kind of the beauty of being even just me and Joe, or now me and the whole band. We're bouncing ideas off of each other. We're listening to each other. How can we tighten this up? How can we tighten that up? Can we get rid of this chorus? Can we make this measure 2 measures as opposed to 4 measures? Does it really need to be there? It's a lot of things that we talk about as a band to help craft the song. You be the judge of whether or not we're doing a good job or not. I've written some not so traditional songs, like a song called Seer the Last Tomorrow. There is no chorus, really, although I try to keep a theme through the whole song, but it would be basically A, B, C, D, E, A, if you want to talk in songwriting terms, like, A, A, B, A. It just keeps progressing until it reprises with the beginning. I thought that was an interesting way of doing something a little bit different than the traditional, but still making it feel similar. My big influence for that song is Def Leppard. They seem to be able to put a lot of parts that aren't typically typical into a song. Their songs take you on a journey. And that's what I love about Def Leppard and the writing process. I still think they're one of the best songwriting bands around. So you tell me what you think. Check out our song Rockband. It just released last week. 2 minutes and 36 seconds. I think you can maybe spare 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Give it a shout. Let me know what you think about it. Is Glenn right? Do a lot of these bands just need to stop with the endless noodling and riffing, if you want to call that? Really concentrate more on the song than their individual performances of each band member? Work together as a unit as opposed to 4 or 5 individuals coming together and all doing their own thing and thinking they've got some epic song going on. Let me know in the comments what you think. Of course, I'm not even going to say it. If you like it, you know what to do.